The Jefferson County Post welcomes newly elected chairman of the county commission, Jimmy Carmichael. Welcome, Chairman
Thank you.
Carmichael.
It's good to be here.
You are brand newly elected, so you haven't had one whole meeting, most of a meeting, but this is not your first time as chair. You actually served 3 years prior to this, correct?
Yes, I did. I served from 14 to 17. And, I was the chairman through the roughest times we really had.
Yeah, during that time, that was the time following or right around the mega site stuff. There was a lot of different things. Budget-wise, it was kind of a tough time in the county. And so you're not starting from, you may be starting scratch with this commission, but you're not starting scratch with the job. You have your feet wet with the job. I think that recently there's been some hot topics that have come on the county commission you kind of inherited. Mm-hmm. So maybe we can go over a few of them. The most recent one, I guess, was at this last county commission meeting, and that was the wheel tax vote that came out, and it got a simple majority to approve the wheel tax, but it did not get a supermajority, which is, if you'll explain what a supermajority is.
Well, a supermajority is you got to have a 2/3 vote, which is 14 votes in our commission of 21 commissioners. And it fell by one vote it only had 13 votes. But the wheel tax as a whole is really, I am the father of the second wheel tax. I was the one that made the motion to instate it many years back. And, when you live in a county that's pushing 60,000 people in this county, and you've got less than 14,000 people that actually owns land. You got to look at a whole as, a broader demographic that you're actually going to tax. And, that's where most people don't understand what the wheel tax does. Me personally, I buy 11 wheel tax stickers, and I don't complain because, if you put the wheel tax onto the property tax, you're looking at another 8 to 9 cents.
Right. So
if you didn't have it.
So the wheel tax currently raises just south of $1 million is what y'all are bringing in a year. Is that correct?
Technically, now it's just a shade over.
Just a shade
it's
over.
It's more like $1.1 million.
So it's and when the chairman's talking about pennies on property tax, a penny, they fluctuate, but a penny's worth somewhere around 120 to 140 some thousand
about
dollars.
137.4.
Right. So, and it fluctuates year to year.
Right.
So this budget season, it will change from last budget season, but that's quite a significant deficit to start with. Mm-hmm. And I know that money had been allocated for debt service and had allowed the county commission to pay off some significant debt. And then this motion split it between debt service and capital projects. Is that correct?
Sure.
So that money would have to come from somewhere else if not.
Well, we would have to replace the money. In the position we're in right now, you have to have 2 consecutive meetings and it can't be a special call meeting. So, if we did try to reinstate it in January, it's going to be April before you can actually have it in its second meeting, a regularly scheduled meeting. So we're still going to have a problem for April. Even if we passed it in January and passed it again in April, there's still going to be a transition point here that's not going to be paid for.
So there's going to be a gap time, you're saying?
Yes, there will be.
Because this particular wheel tax sunsets in April, is that correct? And it takes a little bit of time to do that paperwork and to get
everything. The original sunset was done because of the top tier of our debt that we're paying off came off of us this year. And, we got paid down in refinance, so it wasn't such a big deal. But, our freshman academy, which is we just paid interest only. So we're looking at refinancing that, and we hope in the future to be in a better position to where we can refinance that and actually start paying on some principal instead of interest only. And that interest only come up on us in 2011 or 12. I don't remember exactly which year there.
So you kind of broached the subject of school, so let's hop in that direction. So there's some interest in some people in the county in a new school for Jefferson Elementary School. And then there's some pushback on that. There's a group, even among the commissioners, it's kind of a divide. Some want to do a reno, some want to do a new school, and some want more information. They want to see what a renovation would cost as compared to a new school.
Mm-hmm.
So where do you fall in that, or have you made up your mind on that?
Well, the problem is with the schools, and especially Jefferson City, is you've got an aging structure that, it's location, location, location.
Mm-hmm.
And when you say that, you got to look at where the school is and how handy it is to where it's at. But on the other hand, sooner or later that school's got to be updated. But you want to hear good, solid numbers on both sides. And I think the biggest rift with the commission is that the school board never really seriously looked at a renovation. They want a new school. And most of the time it's an all or nothing thing. And you get into this big debate about how much of the debt that the county has is school debt. And that's where you get started with that debate. And with me, we got to do something with the school. At the time it was brought up, the reason I didn't support it was building materials were out the roof. It wasn't a good time to build. You find more of a downturn in the economy for the government to build anything, and that's creating jobs for you people. And you got to space everything out to where you don't get too much on you together. See, our debt right now it's in the mid-30s right now, 30 million. I think it's about 36, 37 million. I don't know exactly that exact number. But when you're looking at that and you're looking at another 20 to 25 million dollars on top of that, to me it just wasn't smart to do that, because you need a better package. We need to be looking at 25 years from now, was this a smart move?
Right.
And I've always preached it that we need to be more exacting in time.
So on that note, you are the beyond being the chair, you are the representative for District 9, which encompasses the Talbot area. Mm-hmm. And that's the biggest growth area right now.
Right.
It's booming in that area in the county, and really kind of slacked off in other areas of the county. That school in particular is one of the few schools that's bursting at the seams right now. Would you be interested in some sort of a situation that would move maybe Jefferson Elementary School off of where it is right now and toward Talbot end of the county?
My position's been the whole time, and it's really why I voted against the rebuild or brand new school, is the original plan that was brought to me was that Talbot and Jefferson City are joined at the middle school, that we were going to be joined at the elementary also, and that we was looking at land that was just outside the city limits of Jefferson City for Talbot to join Jefferson City. And Talbot wouldn't be this little outcast no more. We would be with a larger school. And that was kicked to the curb because Rush Strong didn't want to be with Piedmont down on 139. And that's how it was received to me. That school superintendent said, that we would like to do this and put these two schools together. Well, there was pushback on the school board saying that, we don't want to do away with the older schools. And Swansylvania was mentioned to me, in Chestnut Hill. And I said, yes, but we can do more efficiently if we put the two schools together. We're joined at the middle school, we're joined at the high school, so why not let Talbot enjoy what Jefferson City's getting and put them together? I'm a strong proponent for that.
I think that there is a certain demographic that is actually for that and sees that growth as being on that end, and that's a possibility. And along those lines, there's been a lot of questions on the county commission regarding Allied. And recently, in this most recent meeting, Allied Behavioral Health is the mental health provider for Jefferson County Schools, for those who are not aware. And they are located inside the school system. And there has been a pushback from several people in the community, and as well as the county commission, regarding some of the philosophies that were represented on their website. Mm-hmm. And most recently, the county commission did something that I don't remember it ever doing in the past. It denied a federal budget amendment.
Yes,
which in my recollection, that has never happened. So do you see that as being a deal breaker issue for this county commission?
Well, what's going to happen here is they got to fund it anyway. The school board's in a contract. That $17,000 is going to get funded because they're under contract. Now, it comes back to the separation of the county commission and the school board. We can tell them what we can fund, but we can't tell them how to spend their money. And there has been some commissioners that wanted to do a lot of things. And my word to them is, the rule is you can fund it or not, but they're under contractual agreement. And if you're not going to pay your contractual agreement, you're in default. So therefore, we got to pay the bill. You can tell them, hey, we're not going to pay another one. But as to voting down federal funds for that to me, it was completely wrong. They should have went ahead and passed it. They should have said, hey, we're going to give you the money, but this is as far as this is going.
So, real quickly, I want to touch on zoning. It's been a hot issue, countywide zoning, not for schools, but just, our different A1, A2, whatever. Do you see that being a hot topic upcoming in this year?
Sure, I see it to be a very big topic. We got a big influx of people into Jefferson County. The faces are changing, but what I see is the core people are still the same type people. I'm not seeing the people that's moving in as they're wanting to change the world. They want a piece of our world. And this zoning thing, we've been allowing some things to go on in agriculture that shouldn't be allowed. And we need to stand back and say, hey, let's listen to the landowners, let's listen to what they got to say, and then let's say, hey, we're going to do the best we can.
So, right now, you're inheriting a commission that has a divide.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty obvious that there's a divide.
It's very obvious.
If you pay attention to the meetings and you look at the vote, you can pretty much know where somebody's going to go, depending on what the question is. How are you planning to heal that? Because in some way that's going to have to be healed in order to make any kind of progress.
Well, I look at things a little differently, and I would like to think that we could all come together on the issue, but the actual problem with the divide is that you've got a lot of new commissioners on the commission. A lot of new commissioners. Just like when I come on in 2010, it totally changed the face of the commission. And to be a good commissioner, you got to learn the rules. You got to learn how things are done. And we've got a lot of people on the commission that'll be great commissioners with some good guidance, with the proper information at the proper time. And you need to know things ahead of time. Don't have a knee-jerk reaction or opinion. Learn all the facts first. And I think the information, I'm going to make sure that it flows better out to the commissioners, that all questions get answered. Be in touch with the commissioners. And we need to do better business is what we need to be doing. We need to be bringing the up-and-comers up and get them up to speed faster and answer good questions. We need to be breaking the budget down for what I call the cheap seats to where everybody understands what you're talking about. When you're talking about pennies, when you're talking about stuff, shortcuts. The first 3 years that I was on the commission, I sat there in the daze because I didn't understand all of what people were talking about. It's just like here a while back, they was talking about raising pay raises. And this last budget, we was 11-cent tax increase. 9 cents of that was a raise that we gave last November. And some of the commissioners didn't realize that, hey, that goes into the taxes next year. We got to pay for that. Some of them even wanted to vote for a, 18-cent tax increase. And I said, guys, you're going to have to sit back and say, how much can the voters stand? You can be all about wanting to give extra money out, and nobody's got enough money right now the way inflation is. But the point is, you got to find a happy medium. We got to draw a line between the employees and in between the taxpayer, and we got to figure out how far is too far, and how much money we've got to spend. And we don't have a money tree in Jefferson County, so we're going to have to go with the tax rate as we have it. And the same person that wants to spend money wants to vote against us bringing business to the county. So we've got to have business in Jefferson County to help this tax rate. It all can't go on the taxpayer's back. And that we got to stand up and say, hey, there's got to be a line drawn through the middle of this. We got to do what's right by everybody. So therefore, we gotta bring everybody together on the same sheet of music with the same information. And if you give everybody the right information that is true and they understand it, the votes take care of themselves.
So you're fixing to head into budget season.
Sure.
Budget season's going to start in February. You start your planning. You start attacking the budget. What, as the chairman, are you looking for in this budget season? What would you like to see happen? Obviously, you want a balanced budget. Do you foresee a property tax increase? Do you think that the wheel tax is going to go away and it's going to have to be made up? And are there things that you want to make sure are taken care of? 'Cause last time, I think we've already mentioned, it was a very small rollover that went into the general fund. I think you all have, what, a couple $100,000, and that's not very much money.
I think the
compared.
whole rollover from schools and county was less than $600,000.
Yeah, it was very small compared
Yes,
to other
yes.
years. So, how is that going to play into what you do in this
What I'm
next
looking
season?
for is, it's gonna be very hard next year to balance this budget, because we're gonna look at a sales tax decrease instead of an increase. We've been living paying our insurance payments off increases. And Jefferson County is gonna tighten up, because the COVID money is gone, and we gotta be watching our tax dollars as they come in. Because, when you're doing real good and you got a big rollover, that means you didn't need that money you funded. But when you see the rollover as small as it was this year, money's tightening up. So therefore, you gotta be real careful how you average this out in the middle, because you'll be like we was when I took over as chairman in 2014, we was $4 million upside down, couldn't make our bank payment. And we don't wanna be back there. And that's why I caution all the new commissioners and say, hey guys, you gotta be thinking about this. We all wanna give our employees a pay raise, but we wanna give them a smart pay raise. We don't wanna give them a pay raise, next year raise their taxes till they can't afford to live in the county, and then lay them off. So we gotta be smart about this.
I tell you, I think you have a year ahead of you, and it started off with a bang this last county commission meeting.
It sure did.
And everybody will be watching, I'm sure, to see what's happening in the next few months. There seems to be a lot of public interest right now. It comes and goes. It's high and then it wanes depending on what's going on in the county. But with budget season coming up, and then there are all these hot topics on the table still to go, I wish you luck. Congratulations on your returning to the chair. And I'm sure that this is going to be a busy, first 6 months are going to be really busy, because you're
Very busy.
You
I appreciate y'all having me here tonight, and I appreciate your candid questions, and I hope I answered them.
You did very well. Thank you very much for being so open with us. And the Jefferson County Post will keep in touch with Chairman Carmichael, and hopefully he'll come back and talk to us again, maybe when we get toward budget season.
Sure.
Sounds great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.